Sanctions against Iran led to the Third Gulf War after Iran blocked the Straits of Hormuz and suicide gunboats attacked the Fifth Fleet. America responded by bombing Iran back to the Stone Age. Israel helped by quietly murdering more Palestinians. Pakistan lent the Iranians a nuke which they used to threaten Israel, so America nuked them and then invaded Iran. Oil prices doubled, and for the first time in a decade the price of donuts in the UK exceeded 10 for a pound. The war will drag on for as long as it serves the needs of our shadowy puppet masters, with many of your children making the ultimate sacrifice for them, i.e. living in debt. The global economy crashed again in 2012 at the horrifying prospect of bankers not getting their money back, the fake money they lent to countries they knew couldn't afford to pay them back, which was okay actually because that's what they wanted anyway. So now they have even more debt slavery with which to browbeat nations into handing over de facto government of their countries via a series of bailouts with more fake money. Debtmocracy now rules the Western world. Some nutter with a strange and unexplained past killed lots of people using a very heavy Chromebook as a weapon. The atrocity was used as a pretext for harsh internet censorship and further surveillance of everyone on Earth. Now anyone who wants to publish anything on the internet has to be licensed by the Thought Police and promise not to express anything that might explode or cause independent thought. Millions of brown people starved to death in 2012 in front of our very eyes and were paraded in our media as evidence of how good it is not to be them. We watched and sent some blankets, but kept the border guards well supplied with ammunition. After all, it wouldn't do to share their fate. Rest assured though, there are a couple of continents ahead of us in the queue to die from malnutrition and easily treated illness. So cheer up and get back to work. In America, Europe and the Middle East, civil unrest continued to plague efforts to establish democracy and the rule over the poor. Democracy and the rule of law. New weapons and crowd control techniques are used by the authorities, such as the beating stick, the choking gas and detention without telling you. The Occupy movement in America are systematically crushed, its leaders rounded up and shot. That should be the Occupy movement is ignored and its leaders forced to work in the shops. Violent clashes with protesters in Russia mar the election of Putin as president of Russia again, but nobody in the West gives a fuck. After all, what's one more violent tyrant on the giant smorgasbord of violent tyrants? Anyway, Europe needs Russia's oil and gas, and America needs Putin to stay out of the escalating Syrian-Irania war. Anyway, we're all quite comfortable with Chinese tyranny, Saudi Arabian tyranny, blah blah blah, etc. Some kind of natural disaster killed a lot of brown people and filled the news up with endless pictures of suffering, distracting debt slaves from the price of donuts and the escalating war in the Middle East. Meanwhile, Libya and Egypt's revolutions spiraled into civil war as people realized nothing had really changed except the face on the poster in the room where the electrodes were attached to their testicles. Shopping continued to destroy our one and only home in the universe for no better reason than to make a few rich people even richer and prop up the arms trade. Billions of new consumers in the developing world were disappointed by news that the party is over, and if they want what we had, they'll have to kill us and/or the planet to get it. A recent study by Nature magazine found that 75% of all mammal species on Earth are at risk of extinction within 300 years. Shopped to death by humanity. Nice. As more unpalatable evidence of the Earth's biosystems collapsing under the weight of human stupidity emerges, some kind of conference or other was held in order to improve monitoring of our insanity. Delegates demanded that we have even better evidence and much greater measurements of our pollution, destruction, deforestation, mass extinction, peak water, peak oil, peak food, and peak life. In the UK, peasants will be forced to celebrate the 60th anniversary of Queen Lizard Breath II, as the Queen parades her opulence and power to the world in a series of events designed to obscure the fact that the real power and wealth of the monarchy are a few wealthy banking families propping up the throne like the Wizard of Oz behind his curtain. Their names, faces and activities unknown to the landless peasants whom they own and would cheerfully sacrifice for profit, power and more donuts. The Republican Party in America selected a candidate so incompetent and unelectable that Obama won by a country mile. Helped by the ongoing war in Irania or Siran or Afpakistan, the only man who could have beaten him, Ron Paul, failed to be selected after it was revealed that he couldn't be bribed and was simply not corrupt enough to be president. Though not officially described as an election fraud, the whole country felt cheated by Obama winning, with many people demanding that there not be a recount. And finally, the end of the world failed to materialize, and 2012 can now be referred to as the end of the world. Let us all join hands and thank ourselves for still being here to witness the ongoing horror of surviving in humanity's disgusting cesspool of fear, loathing, exploitation and greed. Let us give thanks to the fearmongers and misery monkeys who keep us from singing, dancing and having a good time, while we engage in the absurd belief that somehow the glory of existence will be made better by worrying about shit that hasn't happened or feeling bitterness about the shit that did happen. As 2013 approaches, let us all strive to ignore the obvious madness of our collective behaviour whilst throwing a great big garbage party. This, after all, is as good as it gets, and somewhere not far from our haven of utility oppression, there are starving brown people who we don't give a fuck about. Thanks. And now the weather. The planet's fucked, it's your fault, and it's getting worse. Have a nice weekend. Hi, thank you. The war on terror gets a lot of press. But what about the war on terror, the destruction of our planet in the quest for more profit? Let me ask you a personal question. How many of you have assholes? If any of you need to check, it's round the back. Okay, let's agree that everyone has an asshole and it's nothing to be embarrassed about. So let me ask you another question. How many of you have seen your asshole? No? Not all of you? I'll get you started. I've seen mine. But in case you haven't, here's a picture of one. Oh, sorry, that's a tosser. There you are. This is your asshole, your anus, your rectal passage, etc. And the thing about an anus is, it's the first thing you ever are. Yes, as the human fertilized egg begins cell division, its first form is a tube. Stuff goes in one end, comes out the other. We are from inception assholes, cunningly designed by nature to process stuff, other life, mostly plants, and distribute the reprocessed stuff across the earth, enriching the ground with ever more processed life, aka shit. You see, assholes like to shit. It's what they do. And left alone, assholes will breed and shit everywhere. After the primordial tube develops, we get other vital organs, some senses, a way to reproduce, and finally, at the very end, we get a brain. A brain. And our brains are there to manage our assholes, not the other way around. Brains are supposed to be in charge of assholes. But here we are on Earth, our only home in the universe, experiencing the wonder of 14 billion years of time compressed into a human life, and the best way of organizing our time and resources we can come up with is consumerism? Really? We ruin large parts of our only home in the universe to make shit no one needs, to create profit for a few rich people. Is that the best we can come up with? Which asshole came up with that plan? Is this the glory of our existence? Some people call what we do progress, but they're morons. iPods aren't progress. A bigger TV doesn't advance civilization. This year's Ford Mondeo is just last year's with a new boot. We are the war on terror. Destroying our home to make money for a few wealthy banking families who've got it all anyway. I wouldn't mind if all the destruction we're doing was for something fun. Oh, like building a giant golden spaceship to explore the galaxy. Or a giant pyramid to the non-existent feathered serpent sky god. Because at least we'll have a pyramid to show for it at the end of our slavery. Ow, that hurts, but do you know when the pyramid's finished, won't it look great? We're not getting any fucking pyramids. We're not getting any giant golden spaceships. The only purpose to human activity on Earth at the moment is to make rich people richer. I can't stress enough how fucking stupid that is. If the destruction of our forests and the emptying of our seas was for anything remotely interesting or useful, I would clear cut the rainforest myself with a 6-foot chainsaw. Oh, we're destroying beautiful living things, but it's okay. We're building a spaceship. I pump oil straight from the ground, set fire to it, and suck on the exhaust. If there really was a God, and he said to go Hawaiian for it. But there isn't, and we're not. For the purpose of greater clarity, I have composed a mime to illustrate our life on Earth, a theatrical representation of our circumstances. It's like this. There's a giant cock pishing untruth into our mouths so fast you can't swallow one lie before another one gets you. Just pishing lies. Straight. I can't. Terrorists threaten our way of life. Making money is progress. Britney Spears is talented. I can't swallow these lies fast enough. War is okay if we say so. Obama's different. I can barely swallow those lies fast enough as the giant cock of lies pishes them into my mouth. Simultaneously, a big dick of profit made from rainforest timber and heavily splintered is fucking me in the ass for as much money as it can make from every part of the human lifestyle. Oh, fuck you for being born. Fuck you for being born. Pay for your life. Oh, fuck you for your food. Fuck you for your house. Fuck you for water. Fuck you. Pay for everything. You better have plenty of insurance because nobody looks after anybody else on planet Fuck You for a buck. And that's how we live. Choking on torrents of hot, steamy untruth. Pished into our mouths by the giant cock of lie, while a big profit dick, fucks us in the ass. For money at every turn of our lives, forever and ever and ever. Are we all quite comfortable with our position on planet Earth? There are nearly 7 billion assholes on Earth, and more are born every minute. Without brains to control them, the war on terror will continue, and our future will be full of shit. Thanks, and may your government lie badly, and your God be derided by all.
Get to take all the drugs they want. And they're laughing at us. Ha ha. From a dimension on the other side of illumination. And I'm high on life. I'm high. I'm just high on life. Don't you just want to stay just high on life? You'll never be anything but high on life. Don't you just want to stay just high on life? I hear they've invented a way to directly stimulate the pleasure circuit, avoiding the need for chemicals or human interaction. illumination. But I'm drug-free. I hear they've created amazing new drugs, which they've only given to monkeys in a laboratory. They haven't hit the street yet. Yeah, I'm high. I'm just high on life. You just wanna stay the high on life. You never be anything but high on life. You just wanna stay just the high on life. No booze, no bags, no coke, no sex, no love, no acid, no hash, no booze, no bag, no coke, no sex, no love, no acid. I hear the Queen snorts cocaine right off the top of her muesli bowl. And they've got tons of it in the basement. I hear our world leaders get to take all the drugs they want. And they're laughing at us from a dimension on the other side of illumination. On the other side of illumination. Ha 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 ha! No hash, no booze, no fags, no coke, no sex, no love, no acid. If it's okay with you, Your Majesty.